Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good morning, Jenny. I'm doing
good, Skip.
Your man LeBron James wants no part of these Clippers tomorrow night at Staples. Did you see playoff P last night? He's clutching up again.
What happened to the Claw?
Huh?
What happened to Kawhi?
They triple-teamed him the whole game because they knew Toronto knows 13? Just how deadly he can be. Took 6 shots.
LeBron come up a bum. I ain't going to get you 18, 19.
Yeah, well, he's still bumming out.
Unfortunately, yeah, we're going to have an update on LeBron, his ankle, how he's doing. We'll talk Cowboys. We'll talk a little Tebow. But you know what we need to begin with is it's getting messy in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers' time with the Packers may be coming to an end as more reports swirl about his unhappiness with the team. And a lot of people are chiming in. Tom Silverstein of USA Today, who has been connected to the team for years, said the Packers need to be ready to move on. And meanwhile, Terry Bradshaw called Rodgers weak for getting this upset about the situation. And former Packers quarterback Brett Favre said, quote, if he has a grudge, whether it be against the organization or a player or an arch rival, family, friends, he ain't budging, even if it's resolved. But he feels like they have one up on him. He ain't gonna play. Shannon, some strong words from a lot of people. What should the Packers do here?
Let it go. Move on. You drafted a replacement. That's why you traded up in the draft to draft Jordan Love. Skip, I mentioned this last week. And Brett Favre would know Aaron Rodgers because he's been around him, talked to him in a private setting more so. I don't really know Aaron Rodgers. But just observing from a distance and seeing how he's handled some of the things in his personal life, Brett Favre is absolutely right.
By the way, Brett Favre has experienced that firsthand because they've been at war.
Exactly. Right? Even Andrew Brandt, who used to be an executive for the Packers, said Brett Favre's camp just about every year would say, do you know what it's like to come to work with your replacement? So Brett is speaking for, like you said, Skip, from firsthand knowledge. But dealing with Aaron Rodgers, Skip, it seems to me, this is how it normally works. And Skip, a lot of times I use relationships because I believe a lot of our audience have been through a relationship. And sometimes in a relationship, when one party feels they have the power or they make the most money, they have the bigger Q rating or whatever the case may be, Skip, they feel they can talk to you any type of way and you'll accept it. The Packers felt they had the advantage and they could do whatever they want and Brett would accept it. Why would a CEO, why would Mark Murphy tell Aaron Rodgers, don't you be the problem, if he didn't think he had the power? Why would they handle it in such a way? Skip, it was reported, now I don't know if it's true, but it's reported that the Bears gave Andy Dalton a heads up that they're taking Justin Fields. Andy Dalton. They should have made Andy Dalton go pick up Justin Fields from the airport. But they couldn't tell Aaron Rodgers, like, look, Aaron, we're probably going to move. If he's there and he's come to us, we're going to select a quarterback. We might even move up and take him. You could have given him that common courtesy. Skip, my college coach, Bill Davis, used to tell us all the time, he said, guys, I'm going to treat all of you fair, but I'm not going to treat you all the same. And Skip, you've been around it long enough. You know certain players get treated differently. And at some point in time, love is like an eclair. Once it goes cold, it can't be reheated. And even Tom Brady had his breaking point. He got tired. Even it took him 20 years, Skip, to build it up. But he got tired of Coach Belichick treating him, number one, like 43 on the roster. He said, enough is enough. I deserve better. I know I can go somewhere where they'll treat me accordingly.
But he left of his own volition.
He did. Aaron Rodgers believed that he can go somewhere, and they will give him the common courtesy of someone of his ilk deserves. Skip, I don't know how you repair this. I don't know why you're holding on to Aaron Rodgers when you drafted his replacement. When you take a quarterback in the first round, when you trade up to get him, you've told the guy that's already occupying that position, you're on borrowed time. When the Chiefs moved up to get Patrick Mahomes, what do you think Alex Smith was thinking, Skip? When they traded up to Texas to get Deshaun Watson, what do you think the quarterback was thinking? So what do you think Aaron Rodgers, like, hold on, I'm a two-time MVP. None of those guys went to the championship game. Aaron Rodgers said, I did just take the team to a championship game, and y'all still think I'm washed up. So now he has the power. I take you back to the championship game. I go 48 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I have the power. I don't like the way you've talked to me, and I was just waiting for this moment, Skip. And I told you, the moment he get that sledgehammer back in his hand, he gonna break some glass. Aaron Rodgers went out. I don't know how they repaired this, Skip. Too much damage has been done, and Aaron is the guy, Skip, you hold a grudge. He gonna hold that grudge until he gets up out of there. It's only a matter of time. Gutekunst can say all he wants to. Now, all of a sudden, we're committed to him long-term to 21 and beyond. No, you weren't. No, you were not, and he knows you're lying. Skip, just let it go. Just let it go. TB, Skip, TB's my guy. I've known Terry Bradshaw. We're in the Hall of Fame together. And when we talk, and I don't get a chance to talk to him much, but when I talk to TB, Terry Bradshaw, Skip, we really never talk about football. We always talk about his farm, his cattle. He have big cattle farmer, bring us bulls, bring us cattle, beef cattle. Skip, TB, you retired in '84. I retired in 2004. Things are different now. And I had to come to that realization, Skip. I was like, but that's the way we did it. And that's the way we did it. And then I started hearing myself, listening to myself, and like, damn, I'm that grumpy old guy that everybody talked about when I was playing. Things are different now, Skip. Their players have more control now. It used to be the teams had all the control. They controlled you until you couldn't play anymore, and then you ended up like Johnny Unitas, or you ended up like Joe Namath, but not anymore. Guys are not afraid to move. Joe Montana did not end up in 49ers. Emmitt Smith did not end up wearing Cowboy color. Some of the all-time greats, Skip, ended up in another uniform that we associate them with.
Okay.
It's over. You know it's over. I know it's over. The Pack need to know it's over.
I don't know it's over, but maybe you're saying you in general know it's over, but don't lay it on me.
You don't want it to be over because you know what's going to happen if he's still with the Pack and the Cowboys.
Well, you once played for the Denver Broncos. You became a Hall of Famer as a Denver Bronco, later as a Baltimore Raven, but mostly as a Denver Bronco, right? You went into the Hall of Fame as a Denver Bronco.
I went back, finished up for 2 years in Denver.
Correct?
Yes.
And you are hoping against hope that somehow Aaron Rodgers winds up your quarterback as a Denver Bronco, because right now you are stuck with Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock. I told you he wouldn't work.
Which one you want?
Okay, so maybe that'll happen, because I think Denver would be first in line if they open up the auction to all comers. You know, come one, come all, take your best shot for Aaron Rodgers. And that well may happen maybe after June 1st. So let's go back to TB, the man you call him, Terry Bradshaw. I also have known Terry Bradshaw for a long, long time, back to our days. We used to play basketball with and against each other at Las Colinas Sports Club in Dallas, Texas, when he was first trying to get into this business as a commentator. And for our younger viewers, do not underestimate how great a football player he was, because he was a great football player. 4 Super Bowls that he won. And he lit up my Cowboys, especially in the second one, which was Super Bowl 13. He threw the biggest Miami party on my Cowboys, and those were 2 of the greatest teams on one field I've ever seen. So don't underestimate his credibility and the validity with which he speaks on this topic. So I loved, and I'm going to reiterate what he said yesterday, or is actually 2 days ago, on WFAN in New York. He said that Aaron being upset shows me just how weak he is. And his point was, he's a 3-time MVP, and he's worried about a guy they drafted last year in the first round. So Terry goes on to say, Pittsburgh drafted Mark Malone #1, which they did. It was the 28th overall pick in 1980. It was near the end of the line for Terry, but he saw that one coming. And in '77, they had drafted Cliff Stout. Terry can remember what he said, 3rd or 4th round, his 5th round, but still, he was coming also. So he said, that they have him coming at me from all angles. I embraced it because when we went to practice, I wasn't worried about any of those guys. They didn't scare me a bit. That's Terry Bradshaw's confidence. Once upon a time, early in his career, he briefly lost his job to Jefferson Street Joe Gillum. Tennessee State, Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, so then he goes on to say, here's what I would do if I were the Packers. I wouldn't budge. I'd let him gripe, let him cry, retire. You're 38, go ahead and retire, see you later. There's a big part of me that is so with that, like, go, Terry, go. I know it's old school. I know it's tough, but it's what made Terry Bradshaw Terry Bradshaw. And there's a big part of me that says, just let it, like he goes on to say, hey, just let him retire and go do Jeopardy.